Well, good afternoon, everybody, and I just want to thank you for tuning in, if you will. I'm Lonnie Wright, Management 820. This is week 8 discussion board posting, and I'm going to be talking about an article I read by William B. Weather Jr., and it's the structure driven strategy and virtual organization design. And the purpose of this posting is to talk about strategic thinking and what can we learn from this article. And I will tell you that's an article that talks a lot about different functions within the virtual world and the virtual organization itself and its design and how those different functions play a part in everything that goes on. You got everything from a Halo organization to a virtual organization. Each of them have different uses and what they mean, okay? For example, the Halo organization is a firm that seeks economies within the current structure. Virtual firms externalize all but core activities. Thus, virtual firms may be little more than a shell, performing only one or two key functions and not much more. But then again, you have your traditional in-house organizational functions, which are the exceptions in the virtual design because they capture the talent and capital, which is value added to the very core competencies of an organization. One of the things I really want to talk about is, when you think about functionality within the structure of an organization or the design of an organization, there's a lot of different organizations that devote a lot of their time and attention to the efficiency and qualities of an organization and other indices of like doing the right thing, which is not necessarily the right thing. When you look at the inward focus, it can distract leadership from the more important task of doing things right. So when you think about organizations' functions and structures and the strategies and the designs of different organizations, there's so many different implications that come into play. And there's all kinds of different things, such as the environment and the control and the rules and all the different types of laws and methods of communications. And you talk about the core competencies of the organization. One of the things I've learned from this article was that leaders prefer organizations that are adaptive, okay? And those types of organizations typically can exploit to a changing environment. It's the changing environment that if you're a great organization and you're made up of a great group of leaders, or your executive team is good leaders, innovative thinkers, strategic thinkers, they can adapt to an ever-changing environment. And what's really special about that, when you really consider that perspective, you consider the fact that they capture those different elements of that changing environment and embrace those to develop change, to bring about change. Those little tidbits of information, those different economies of scale, if you will, that they can tap into and grab a hold of. I mean, that's really what it's about. When you think about superior responsiveness among those firms is a turbulent industry. And what it suggests is that the source of competitive advantage and therefore developmental focus, it's when that environment's continuing to change and the industry's causing a lot of turbulence due to the economy and all kinds of different things. There's some great organizations out there that tap into that, and they use that as a developmental focus of change, that drive that change of the organization. And basically, to me, change is the strategic thinking of the organization as it thinks forward. not back, but it thinks forward into the future. And then it's all those different processes, ideas, and creative minds that bring in the different innovation that drives that change, that brings that change about. And of course, as a part of the consultant or researcher or somebody that's conducting a study or whatever, you're identifying the issues within the organization that may need change. But sometimes those issues are self-explanatory by virtue of the fact that you're in a status quo, you're on a plateau, the organization isn't being productive, you're not producing new things, you're not very responsive, and therefore that may drive that change, that need for change, if you will. And as that environment continues to change and the organizations around you to continue to change, okay, you have to be that innovative thinker within that organization to be quick, to respond quickly, to capture those changing elements and bring them in to make you better and to knock off those, it's like a strategic defense, if you will, to prevent your organization from being out thought of. From those competitors trying to outdo you or beat you to the punch. You're on the verge of always changing, you're always thinking forward, and you're always thinking ahead. Innovation and organizational development and the creation of strongly embedded cultures that embrace change may increasingly become a source of competitive advantage. See, that's what it's all about. So if you embrace that those elements that are going on within the environment, that turbulence, that, if you will, if you're a good organization and you're good at what you do, the culture of that organization, and it's embedded in you to reach out and grab those elements, get those little tidbits, bring them in, and capitalize on them before anybody else does. That's what that's about. That's what this is about. That's what brings this change, if you will, and makes it exciting. Okay. The and then if you're a fast changing organization, if you're a fast responder, you're less likely to be a target of innovation by competitors as well. In other words, they're not able to outthink you, come up with more innovative or enhanced innovative thinking to out strategize you. That's the whole key behind that. But that's what this article was very briefly and basically about. It was about change. It's about organizations and going through different case studies and giving you different examples of the different functions of these different organizations and the different elements of those functions that brought about change or that can enhance change, okay, that you leverage off of. Okay, and whether you're a hollow organization or not, it doesn't matter. You're one that's about change and you're continuing to think forward. So for me, that's what Mr. Weather talked about in his article. And I thank you and I look forward to your response.